You're standing in line at your favorite fast food joint, craving that juicy burger with a side of crispy fries. As you complete your order, you begin to sweat as you awkwardly make eye contact with the cashier, who's about to swivel the tablet around, asking you that dreaded question: how much of a tip would you like to leave? Hello foodies, and welcome back to Noshed. Today, we are diving into a topic that has Americans churning all across the country. Has tipping at fast food restaurants gone too far?
We're talking tips. How much should you give? Which ones can you skip?
Tipping culture has gotten out of control.
It is really contributing to a tipping fatigue in our society. Look, American culture, we are a very generous people.
Is it really necessary? And if so, how much should you be tipping for someone just to swipe your card? Before we go behind the scenes, including some shocking insights from fast food workers themselves, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more of your favorite fast food updates. Traditionally, tipping has been reserved for sit-down restaurants where servers provide attentive tableside service. But in recent years, the culture of tipping has crept into the world of fast food. This shift has sparked a heated debate, with customers feeling nickel and dimed and some employees relying on the extra cash. The trend really began to emerge during the pandemic, when many people wanted to support workers who were facing challenging times, so they started tipping more, even for simple counter service. But while some patrons are tipping to show appreciation, the practice has caused confusion and frustration for others. They feel pressured to tip in situations where that extra payment doesn't really make sense based on the service provided. Terms like tipflation and tip creep highlight how tipping expectations seem to be getting out of hand.
Tipflation and tip creep, both on the rise. The practice is spreading to other industries, CTV's Dave Charbonneau reports.
The COVID-19 pandemic was a major driving force behind the growth of tipping at fast food restaurants. When the virus hit, many people wanted to support service workers, and there was a sense that these employees deserved additional compensation. But other factors are also at play behind the scenes. The pandemic accelerated the shift to digital payments, and with cash becoming less common, it became easier and more convenient for customers to just tap and leave a tip on those digital screens, even at fast food counters where tipping was never really expected before. Beyond the pandemic, there's also been a shift in how we view tipping as a society. More people see tips as a way to show appreciation and even help supplement the low wages paid to many service workers.
And I'm feeling a little happy, like maybe I'm just going to tip a good 20% or so.
Evolving social norms around worker rights and income equality have contributed to this changing mindset on tipping. As the public becomes more aware of the financial struggles faced by those in low-wage jobs, tipping has become a way for consumers to directly make an impact. However, for many customers, the biggest gripe with tipping at fast food joints comes down to how much they're already spending. With menu prices at an all-time high, having to fork over even more money for a tip often feels like an added burden, especially with the inflation we've seen in recent years. Many customers feel that the culture of tipping is getting out of control. Some even suggest that businesses should pay their employees more so that they don't have to rely so heavily on tips. There seems to be a lot of awkwardness and uncertainty around tipping in the fast food context. As one customer remarked, "I do not like tip demanding that starts at 18%.
73% of us, of people, tip at least 11% more.
Nor having the tip amount be the total that includes tax. With no clear-cut norms, customers are left wondering, when exactly should I tip? How much is appropriate for counter service? The lack of clear etiquette and the pressure from digital tipping screens can make the decision to tip an emotionally charged one, with customers feeling guilty or embarrassed about their choices."
Do you tip when using a self-service kiosk? Or would you even tip?
The shift to digital kiosks hasn't helped either. Those glaring tip preset screens make the tipping request feel pushy and intrusive to some.
To tip or not to tip, that is the question posed by TikTok star Aubrey Grace.
It's pressure tipping, and so we've all experienced it. And I think what we have to do is we have to be prepared. So
the presence of preset tipping options on digital screens can lead to social pressure to tip, even when customers might not feel it's warranted, or when they're unsure who will receive the tip. As one Redditor shared, the person ringing you up stares at you awkwardly while you select a tip percentage, and then displays clear disdain if you don't tip, putting the customer in an equally uncomfortable position. Not surprisingly, many customers outright resist tipping at fast food places. Their reasoning? Tips should be reserved for outstanding table service, not a basic transaction over the counter, especially when food prices already account for the business's operating costs. At the end of the day, the rise of tipping expectations in this casual dining sector has created a tense dynamic. Customers are grappling with mixed feelings of guilt, frustration, confusion, and resistance over an emerging cultural norm that they didn't ask for. But as it turns out, some fast food employees aren't thrilled with the new tip feature either. A former fast food employee, Allison, known as Farby Barbie on TikTok, dropped a bombshell about her days behind the cash register at a frozen yogurt shop. In her viral TikTok video, Allison spilled the beans on how the tip feature on the checkout tablets made her cringe, and she claims that it was downright embarrassing. She revealed that not only did she have to ask customers to tip, but if she dared suggest they ignore it, she'd actually get in trouble with management. Can you imagine being scolded for trying to spare someone's wallet? But here's the real kicker. Allison worked at a self-serve yogurt shop where the customers filled their own cups, yet somehow they felt compelled to tip the cash lady. In fact, she shared that close to 90% of customers would add a tip when completing their purchase. Other TikTok users flooded the comment section, sharing their own tales of tablet-induced discomfort. Another ex-fast food employee stated, "We all get embarrassed when the tablet asks you to tip." The funny thing seems to be that most people still end up tipping simply because they're asked to do so, regardless of how much or how little work the employee puts in. So the question remains, if the pressure of tipping at fast food restaurants makes both customers and employees uncomfortable, then why has it become the norm? Should we abolish tipping at fast food restaurants and other similar establishments, or perhaps make it seem more voluntary? What do you think?
They're being asked to tip prior to service completion.
Asking for a tip beforehand is almost like a bribe.
Let us know in the comments section, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of your favorite foodie videos.